Were you looking forward to the Canon EOS R7C, a cinema camera based off of the R7, an entry-level APS-C cinema camera? Well, apparently Canon scrapped the idea, and they did so back in late 2022. But does that mean that Canon's given up on the idea of an APS-C video or cinema shooter? Details coming up, but first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe, share, choose all notifications, like, comment, and all that stuff. It's greatly appreciated, but most importantly, it really does help this channel grow. Ever since Sony released the FX30, people have been asking when Canon's going to be announcing the R7C, their own version of an APS-C cinema camera. Thanks to Canon Rumors, we've got our answer. Unfortunately, we've been told recently that the project was scrapped in late 2022. I think that's a shame. I think this would have been a winner for Canon. After all we have to do is look at what Sony's been doing with their FX line, the FX3 and the FX30. The FX3 was, well, a video-centric version of the A7S III, a very popular camera, and both the A7S III and the FX3 have sold very, very well. And then just last year, well, Sony released an APS-C version of the A7S III or the FX3 and the FX30, and that camera's been doing very, very well. I know people that shoot with it. Stop the FOMO shoots with the FX30, and he says it's just an absolutely wonderful camera, a go-anywhere camera that can shoot indefinitely without overheating, without any record limits. And at $1798, it's a bargain. $1798 for a camera that has all the capabilities of the Sony A7S III. A video-centric version of the Canon EOS R7, a camera that sells for around $1,500. I think that could have sold very, very well. I think that would have been a top hit for Canon. And I'm wondering why they decided to park that idea. Is it because, well, that wasn't the right camera to produce a cinema version? Or are they coming out with a new stills hybrid camera that's supposed to take that role? Or maybe another cinema camera, but it's not based on the R7. Maybe it's based on a different camera. What if Canon was going to do this, what possible camera could they do? They could take the R8, couldn't they? But that's a full-frame camera. And they could do the, well, R10, an APS-C camera, and make a cinema version of that. What do you think? Is that plausible? Is that something you could see Canon doing? I'm really curious to know which direction Canon's going to go. This can't possibly be the end of the idea of an APS-C censored cinema camera from Canon, and Canon Rumors doesn't think so either. For the moment, we don't know what the direction will be, but we still think an APS-C cinema shooter is in the pipeline. You know what, go ahead and scrap that idea that I just gave you that the R10 could be made into a cinema version. Here's what I think Canon could do, and we just have to copy from Sony's playbook. Look what Sony's done with the A7S III, a full-frame cinema version, the FX3, an APS-C full version of the A7S III, and they just recently released a vlogging camera with the same capabilities as the A7S III. So why can't Canon do the same thing? To basically take the R5 and create an APS-C version of the R5, or take the R5C and create an APS-C version. I know what you're thinking. Yes, that sensor size might be hard to do with an APS-C censored camera, but keep in mind that Fujifilm has already created a camera with a 40 megapixel sensor. 5 megapixels isn't that much further. I do understand that 45 megapixels is a huge amount for an APS-C sensor. The architecture would be a bit of a challenge, but not impossible. The other thing that Canon could do with releasing an APS-C cinema version of the R5 or the R5C would be they could say, okay, you know what, this camera is going to do 8K, 24, 25, and 30 frames per second, and even do RAW, but not do it in DCI, just do it in 8K UHD, which for many people would be, you know, a decent trade-off, especially if that camera could sell for under $1,798, the same price that Sony sells their FX30 for. Can you imagine? What if you could buy a Canon camera, an APS-C version of the Canon EOS R5 for under $1,800? Would that not get you interested? Would that not get you excited? Would that not get you more excited than a Canon R7C, a cinema version of the R7? To me, yeah, that would, because now we're thinking bold. That is a very bold decision to basically release an APS-C version of the R5 or the R5C. Yeah, now that to me would get me excited. The R7, a cinema version of the R7, it was a good idea, and I don't know why I wasn't thinking about this back then when we heard rumors of a cinema version of the R7. But a cinema version of the R5C that's using an APS-C sensor, that's going to sell for under $1,800. And you know it has to, because the Sony FX30 is selling for $1,798. $1,798 for the Canon EOS R5. And the only thing you're missing maybe is DCI, because if you're not shooting DCI, all you need is 40 megapixels. which is what Fuji's able to do, is deliver 8K video there. Now I'm excited. And I haven't heard anything about Canon rumors on this. I'm going to reach out to them and ask them, do you think this is possible? Have you heard any noise about this? Because that to me would be really, really exciting. And if you want to stay up to date on the latest camera news and rumors, well then go ahead and subscribe, but make sure you also choose all notifications. But by choosing all notifications, you'll get a reminder in an email form. Just make sure you check your junk and spam folder to make sure it doesn't show up in there. And for all the minor news and rumors, well, then follow me on Twitter at this address here, because I'm always sending out tweets. For all the news and rumors that just aren't big enough to have their own separate video, well, I'll put them out on that Twitter address right here at Filmmaker. And last night, while I was tweeting an awful lot, we had Nikon Asia and Nikon Australia. They were down for maintenance, and they were down for quite some time. And that had a lot of us thinking, wow, could Nikon be getting ready to make an announcement? Could the Nikon Z8 be on deck? And apparently what happened was the sites were just down for maintenance. We did see an error of 503, which means that, yeah, they're down for maintenance, or there's some sort of overload or some sort of technical issue. Boy, that would have been nice to wake up to the Nikon Z8, wouldn't it? And I do think that the Nikon Z8 isn't too far away. I think it's possible we will get an announcement by the end of this month or early May, and that's according to Nikon Rumors. I don't want to take their thunder. Nikon Rumors has been doing a good job of covering the camera. I'm just hoping to see some leaked images of the camera and some full leaked specifications. And before we get any announcements, that's what I expect to start to see. So we look forward to seeing that very soon. So again, don't forget to subscribe and also follow me on Twitter. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great week, and we'll see you again soon.